Welcome back into the ASUG News Studio. My name is Tom Wilgum, joined by my co-host Courtney Bjorlin. Courtney, we are wrapping up another fantastic week here.
And I can't think of two more fantastic gentlemen to wrap it up with.
Where are they? I see, yes. We got two ASUG volunteers who are just awesome. They embody everything about the ASUG spirit. Derek Loranca and Jamie Oswald. Thanks, guys, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
So what's been the... What's your one takeaway that you would tell another ASUG member who couldn't come this week? What would be your one takeaway when you would, talk to them and share what happened this week? Derek, maybe we'll start with you.
So I guess my first takeaway, my big takeaway from the conference was today's keynote, was the impassioned defense of HANA that Hasso Plattner put on today. So the fact that it's matured enough that he and the other board members think that enough is enough when it came to criticism, and they wanted to actually take time out of the actual keynote of the full-blown, biggest user conference that they have to dispel rumors and, put this into play as a full-time released into play software now.
Yep, that was telling because the myths, some of those I didn't even ever heard of them, so it kind of like crept in more, like oh really, I never heard that, but that does seem like it may have some value. That's interesting. Jamie, how about you?
I think it's very clear that HANA is the future with SAP, right? And so the one thing that I took away from this conference is I'd really like to see us get creative in how we get it into the hands of everyone, right? So especially for agnostic, SAP agnostic customers who just have business objects or some other point solution, how do we creatively put HANA into their hands so they can start unlocking some of this power without, necessarily going full bore with the 100 terabyte appliance, right?
So when we're talking about business objects agnostic customers, we're talking about customers that only have business objects in place. Tell us what's here at this conference for folks like you.
There's plenty. I'll go off the top of our heads. There was over 50 business objects, BI sessions. Majority, more than 75%, would have been business objects based. The moral of the story is that while the connector might be to BW, it's a multi-source connector. So if you can think a little bit out of the box and say, all right, I've got a multi-source, and I look on the supported, the PAM, the product availability matrix, and mine is there, I can learn from the sessions at a BW. So the learning is there. It's all in applied learning.
So I really had a nice time on the show floor this year. I did go to some great sessions. I know Children's Medical Center of Dallas put on a great session, and Ty Miller did a great Business Objects Roadmap session. But I got a ton out of the floor this year, even talking to partners. A lot of times, coming from a Business Objects back end, we didn't typically buy a lot of add-ons, right? We really wanted business objects and now SAP to deliver everything we needed around analytics, and I think we're coming to the realization that we need to step in there and maybe buy an extra piece or two, and I had some fantastic conversations with people about that.
Is there a business objects roadmap, or does it end off the map? Do you feel confident that? Sorry, that is a very loaded question.
It is a very loaded question.
Will you answer that one?
No.
Yes.
Do you at least see something there for you guys that would give you, reassurance?
Right. SAP, at the end of the day, SAP is the worldwide leader in analytics, right? And they know that they have a lot of customers who aren't reporting off of SAP data, and they know that all of their customers aren't just reporting off of SAP data, right? So no matter how in bed with SAP you are, you've got something running that wasn't delivered, from here. So I get the sense that the analytics team and even with Steve Lucas, who is HANA and analytics now, they're committed. They want to keep the customers they have and keep making that a market. So yeah, there are some question marks out there. Obviously Lumira Cloud is a big new offering in the analytics space, and I've heard some pretty interesting questions about where it might be going and when. But I think that saying that SAP is not going to have anything for agnostic customers in 5 years is pretty fuddy, you know.
And to add on, it's the fact that SAP has got a base, and the base isn't 5 or 10 or 15 customers. You're talking customers in the thousands who are running the tools without any lick and hook into the ERP backend. So it's not a small number. So it might be vocal. There might be more customers that are vocal than others. But if you think about it, it's just another line. And BusinessObjects acquisition was the first. You think about, have they fully integrated SuccessFactors? No, there's a separate user base for SuccessFactors. Have they fully integrated Ariba? Ariba's completely separate as well. So the BusinessObjects acquisition, I think, kind of started SAP on the path of how do we, through acquisition, grow ourselves, but also keep the existing bases of the acquisitions.
That's a great point.
Yeah, because it really is the only acquisition where you were fully integrated, you know, not just the software, but the two companies were fully integrated, you know. They haven't followed that model since, so.
I think they learned it.
Yeah.
Or two.
What about the, you know, we often talk about the ESO community here. Is it still just as strong as it ever when you guys are here and in the lounge, in the sessions?
Absolutely.
Totally.
I mean, every pod out here has been full all week. I mean, it's been fantastic. And up in the rooms, you know, where the sessions are, it's, you know, it's the same great stories. It's the same great, you know, here's how I was successful with this tool, and here are the things that will screw you up when you try to do it. So it's, you know, I don't know how you can, I mean, I just don't know how you can discount any of that. You know, there's so much value in the people, and ASUG is obviously the connector.
And I think Jamie hit the nail on the head with the people. It's not just the sessions that are on this calendar or the lounge sessions that have standing room only because you're getting together everybody in Canada. Like the Canadian lounge was, once again, standing room only. Why? Because it wasn't just the BusinessObjects Canada folks. It wasn't just the government folks. It was the region. And when you go beyond the scope of just your product and just your line of business, you are in a realm in this entire building of people like you. SAP customers, even though we're BusinessObject customers, at the end of the day, we're SAP customers. Right. So you SuccessFactors customers, Ariba customers. At the end of the day, it's about the contacts and the information, you know, transparency between general people who are just on the floor. And that hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten bigger. I truly think so. The lounge here has grown. The connections you make have grown. And seeing how it just kind of interacts throughout the entire 3 to 4 days is, you know, is wonderful. I mean, can't beat a user community like that.
Right.
I had assumed the Canada room, they just had a hockey game.
Or the stuff that you eat that I can't remember the name.
Poutine.
Poutine.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I bet that there were both elements in there. That's brilliant. Yeah.
And the rest of America just sat there and went, what?
Yes, yes. So we're winding down this conference, and we're always looking forward to the next best thing. BOUC is right around the corner. What are you looking forward to hearing there?
Well, I think a lot of what it is being announced now with Lumira should be to fruition there. So I think figuring out exactly where that roadmap goes and how it's going to tie into the greater BO platform will really be at least hopefully, the news out of that story. And really, I'd like to hear a lot more about people who have gone to BI4. You know, that's still a pretty big matzo ball out there, and I know some people are doing it. It's just tough to get a large sampling of that. So I'm hoping that will be there this year.
And also some Desky updates as well, right?
That's
Are you
right.
looking forward to that?
That's right.
Definitely.
How they managed to bury it.
Where is it buried?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, not deep enough. Not deep enough.
it's still alive. For me, I'll take the opposite tack of Jamie, that I'll look for some BI4 content at the BI sessions at TechEd, but for SBOUC, what I would hope is those customers who are still running 3.1, don't be scared to submit, because there's still thousands of customers, you know, who are still running 3.1 and still want tips, still want tricks, still want to learn I'm not going to upgrade for another year. How do I leverage what I have now while I plan for that upgrade, but I need to do stuff now. So don't be afraid if you're a 3.1 customer to submit, because in that respect, that conference is there for you. You know, it's not just for the BI4 customers. If people are thinking about upgrading to BI4, it's for the people on the current platform. I mean, support for XI 3.1 and Service Pack 6 now doesn't end until officially end of life 2017. I believe is the final year. So while you can upgrading it to all the great features and all the upgrade stuff from BI4, there's still hundreds and hundreds of customers on 3.1. I'd like to hear and see those stories come across our desk as volunteers on the committee.
Great point.
Bring the stories. Let's, you have a voice, and that's what ASUG is.
And the call for presentations is already open?
Yes, both conference call for presentations. Tech Ed ends the 26th, and I believe a week or so after that is when SBOUC opens. Feel free if you want to submit for both. There's nothing saying that if you're good enough and gosh darn it, people like you, then you know what? Go for both. The audience at both are your technical folks as well as your users. The more customer stories that can be brought to bear, the enhanced the learning is.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, thanks guys for coming in. We really appreciate you and all the work that you do for ASUG.
Yeah, thank
Thank you.
Check out asugnews.com for more videos as we wind down live from ASUG Annual Conference and Sapphire Now.